Launching downfield, underthrown, and intercepted. Keely Ringo has an escort down the sidelines.
Heartbreak, longing, despair, letdown, choke.
These are words Atlanta sports fans are all too used to hearing.
Until now.
No more negative expectations. No more playing the victim. No more fair weather freeloaders. No more.
38-yard field goal by Morton Anderson. The hold, the kick, it's on the way, it's up and good. The Falcons are going to the Super Bowl. The Falcons are going to the Super Bowl.
From the Mesmerized Studios in Woodstock, Georgia, Believe Entertainment proudly presents Believe in Atlanta Sports with your hosts, Robert Taylor and the Commissioner, Mark Rich.
Hello, Atlanta sports fans, and welcome back. And you know, before I even get into that, I'm a little confused as to what number episode this is. Is this...
Do we number the golf tournament, or is that just a one-off?
I think the golf tournament episode is an official episode, so I want to say that was 14. So this is Sweet 16. Let's get the cake out and the candles, man. We can drive a car now here at Believe in Atlanta Sports. We're old enough to drive, not on the throughway, as they say across the pond.
And do we still need an adult in the car?
No, we're 16, man. We can get the keys to Dad's car. We can take it for a spin. Speaking of taking things for a spin, we're going to take the Falcons for a spin right now because they took us for a spin yesterday. And depending on who you are, if you're a good Falcons fan or a bad Falcons fan, I'm pointing my finger. I'm telling you, man, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to let up until I knock some sense into you people because you've all lost your minds. You have gone haywire. Because let's talk about it. They drop it 31-27 to the Rams. And I said this yesterday, and I think I told you, I said I can comfortably say this without feeling like an armchair GM, that a better quarterback wins that game for the Falcons. Now, what does that mean? I told you, I went back, I watched a little highlights from the Saints. I looked at some numbers, blah, blah, blah. And then I watched that entire – I did miss a couple here and there because I was in the lab. I did a new smoked wing recipe. I got out the buttermilk brine, and I sent you a text too. I'm just saying maybe just float the idea to Mr. Sellers that with our powers combined, my brine, his spice, we probably have just created the world's greatest chicken wing because – and I didn't even get to brine them as long as I wanted. I want to do like a 12 or 18 hour brine. Because for those of you that are interested in cooking, and I know we've got to talk about, I know I steered off a side road here, but guess what? It's our show. We do what we want. Hut, hut. That's a shout out to an old friend of mine. For those cooking 101, buttermilk is acidic and it breaks down the skin and the tissue, and it makes it more tender and juicy, but also makes them crispier. Now these weren't as crispy because you don't get the fire right every time. You got to get the coals just right to do the smoked wings. You got to keep it kind of low and slow. And I don't have my big boy grill yet. I just got one of those little Weber.
Still waiting on that one.
Weber, whatever, Smoky Joe's, But it gets the job done. I like it. I pulled some great stuff off that grill. Long story short. But they were good, man. They were fire. So we got a dang good recipe in the works. But back to Mariota. What does that mean? What I saw in this game is a Falcons team that didn't quit. I mean, it was nice to see them fight back late in the game. And even though they were down, man, I was really hoping they were going to pull it out because Mark Sanchez said it. He said, does this exercise the demons? Because they were down 28-3. We would have had not that we don't have a lot of great stuff to talk about, but man, we could have had a whole episode or two off hey, we've we got out the smudging herbs and we rid ourselves of the 28-3 demon because we came back from 28-3 against the current Super Bowl champs, but we didn't. But it was nice to see them hang around. That was their first punt block since like 93, something crazy like that.
Troy Anderson.
Yeah.
Sweetheart.
Yeah. So, there were bright spots. We were 10 points. Well, spread was 10. We were favored to lose. Not favored. What am I even trying to say here? I'm just getting. I'm so worked up about new smoked wing recipes and crummy Atlanta fans that I've gotten out of sorts. But
we're supposed to lose by 10.5 points.
There you go.
That was the spread
for the save. Commissioner for the save. So Drake London, boy, he looked like a gamer yesterday. First time I've ever gotten to see him play ever. I've seen some highlights from USC, but boy, he sure looks like he it could
be a competitive hurdler.
Yeah, he sure looks like he might be the guy everybody keeps talking about. And this is another thing that I don't, it drives me crazy. I don't know why it does. It always will. But people, out in the Twitterverse, I'm interacting with people and I see do we win that game if Ridley's in? Who cares? He's not here, and he ain't ever going to be here again.
It's not clearly it's not about who's on the field. It's who's delivering the football. Yeah. If Ridley's on the field, do we have a better chance? Yes. The answer is yes. He's a very, very good receiver, an incredible route runner. We're definitely better with him on the field than without him. But do we get him the ball? That's the thing. Like it's a cool hypothetical. Yeah. But the answer is yes. We have a better shot at it, but like it's not happening. So why are we talking about it?
Here's a saying that I throw out there once in a while, and my girlfriend Valerie would say it's an old man saying, even though I am not old, because age is just a number. We won't get into that whole thing. Yes, it is a construct. We live in the Matrix. Mm-hmm. But something I heard from my my old Southern gentlemen, dudes, guys, whatever that raised me, and I stick to this. If ifs and buts were sugar and nuts, what a Merry Christmas we would all have. And it just means who cares about the ifs? That's like saying, what if, in last episode, what if Freddie Freeman, he's not here.
Yeah.
What if not here? Doesn't matter. If you lead any kind of sports talk off with if, in my world, just shut up. Because you're not talking about reality. I'm just a very, reality-based, grounded, we don't have Calvin Ridley. We're never going to, I don't care, even after this year's over, you're never going to see Calvin Ridley in a Falcons uniform again.
You should not. But
you're never going to.
The crazy part to me is that there's so much from this game, and obviously, I actually don't mind the question as much because maybe the person's like, man, if he didn't flake on us and if he wasn't who he was, do you think we can win that game if we had him, if we were in that situation? But it's more than that. That it happens on a much larger scale, way more often. Oh, do you think we would have won that game if Matt Ryan was the quarterback? Or
yes,
everybody does that. Matt Ryan had a terrible day yesterday.
He did. They lost 24-0 to the Jaguars. Whew.
But the whole thing is there was so much going on in that game and so much to take away from that game, good, bad, and ugly, that I don't understand why your head's there. Because it can't happen. You can't win that game.
Again,
the game's over.
It's because, for whatever reason, Falcons fans are babies. They're babies. They're already talking about get Arthur Smith out of here, and FedEx doesn't deliver packages that good anyway for you to be cocky. And I'm like, what does that even mean? Somebody said that on Twitter. What does that even mean? He doesn't even work I don't even know if he ever worked at FedEx. But yes, his father founded FedEx. For those of you that don't know, Arthur Smith's family are billionaires. They are the FedEx family, FedEx Field.
And he chooses to coach football.
Yeah. So, but I don't get that.
Think about it.
And we said this on another episode. Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot are quite possibly going through one of the more challenging rebuilds we've seen in the NFL in a long time. Dimitroff wrecked the money for us. It's wrecked. We are in dire straits. We don't have money to sign anyone.
Till next year.
And we didn't have a lot of trade capital. We didn't have a lot of players that were wanted by we period. Let's just end it there. No money, no trade capital. Here's kind of what you got.
Well,
You may get some discount players, some guys to, kick the tires on, which, God, how many wide receivers did we kick the tires on?
but look what you got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I have theories. Somebody posed a question to me yesterday, or maybe I think it was on Facebook. Somebody said something about, Mariota's not the guy. And right underneath it, it said, unless you're tanking, ... And I told you before, like, I'd love to see progression and lose every game by 1 point. And I'm being facetious. I don't really want to lose every single game, but I'd love for this team to improve and have a good draft pick. That's the moral of the story there.
Yeah.
Mariota's playing right into that plan right now. It's also playing into my hopefully see Desmond Ridder before week 5 plan.
I think you will, because what I said, and I texted you, I put it out on Twitter. I said, what I see right now, and look, 27-31 against the former Super Bowl champs is progress to me. And the way they fought back, and I even told you, I'm probably repeating myself now, a better quarterback wins that game for Atlanta. But another thing, too, Koo misses a field goal. That's 3 points you left off the board. They got 2 picks against Stafford, didn't capitalize on them. That's another 14 points. He throws the pick to Ramsey, and I said a better quarterback gets that throw down a little bit and puts it in his chest right between the numbers, and you catch that ball and you probably score. So what are we up to now? 24 points? That's 24 missing points. And I said he's making bad decisions with the football. He's not playing with confidence, and he doesn't look comfortable.
So that's exactly what I was
And he's
gonna say.
indecisive.
That's it. Bad decisions and indecisive. So the indecision leads to the bad decision. You know what I mean? That's the tough part to me. That there's one play in particular. It's a comeback route to Drake London broke off a play, and he's coming back, and he overthrows Drake wide open. It's little stuff like that. It's the indecision. That the throw to Bryan Edwards that Jalen Ramsey picks off. You sell that one. You say if you hit him in the chest, that's 6, and that's great. That all I'm saying is you had Kyle Pitts leak out on the left side, and if you want to throw a 50-50 ball away from Jalen Ramsey with Kyle Pitts, who, mind you, only had 2 catches the entire game,
19 yards.
I know you're going down that path in your beautiful jersey. But it's the thing is, like, if you're gonna throw that ball and it could be a 50-50 ball, and you got Drake on one side and you have Kyle on the other side, and you choose to go against perennial Pro Bowler Jalen Ramsey, and I just don't understand. Like, we have those 2 guys for a specific reason. And somebody said that Arthur Smith is not calling plays for Kyle Pitts. Arthur Smith doesn't have a remote controller. Arthur Smith does not have the ability to tell Marcus Mariota who to throw the ball to. Mm-hmm. He may be calling the plays.
They're called progressions, by the way.
Yeah.
You go through your progressions and you check down and all that fun stuff.
Well, and this is where indecision comes into play. And we talked about how possibly his running was indecision and not letting the play fully develop. And maybe that's what caused Pitts not to have any success in the first game. And now we come to the second game, more of the same. And I'd have to rewatch the game to see if they're just still, are they just still like double, triple teaming Kyle Pitts and Kyle can't get open, because I don't believe it. I watched him go open on a couple of plays and the ball just get put somewhere else. You have to make that a priority. I've never been a fan of like making sure someone gets their catches. You know what I mean? Like, you don't force it to somebody just because. But like on this team that we have assembled here, like, you want to make an asserted effort to run plays to make Drake London and Kyle Pitts a big part of your offense. I don't know if that's why we lost or not. It could have happened either way, but
I think it's kind of something you have to point to. I mean, and again, if you go by what people say, he's a generational talent. He's got that kind of athletic ability.
They call him the unicorn.
So to 2 for 9, I mean, that's why I wore the jersey today. I'm like lobbying, like, if he's supposedly, the best offensive weapon you have, you've got to find a way to get the ball in his hands and allow him to make plays, allow him to make people miss, allow him to use his speed and skills as a tight end hybrid, whatever he is, as an offensive weapon. You have to. Now that Arthur Smith was like, hey, we're not playing fantasy football, we're trying to win. That was kind of a weird thing, but he's right. But I think one thing too is just like, look, after one season and 2 games against the Saints and the Super Bowl champions, Arthur Smith is not on the hot seat. It is not time to run him out of town. He is not a bad coach. He's just got to get the right pieces in place. And, I mean, you want to talk about rebuild. I mean, we are at the bottom. We haven't even finished laying the foundation yet. It is not time, and I'll say this until I'm blue in the face. If you see me out at a Falcons game, we can talk about it, but somebody probably wants to punch me, but I'm sick of it. I am absolutely sick of the negativity, just the garbage comments, and the lack of support for this team and this organization and the players involved. And we are not alone. We are not alone in this. We have heard people say it. You got guys at your tailgate. They're out there. And if you're one of those people that after 2 games in year 2 of Smith Fontenot that are screaming for their heads, pack your shit and get out. I don't want you around.
No,
I don't want you at a tailgate. I don't want to sit next to you at a game. I don't want to talk to you in a bar. I don't want to talk to you about Falcons football, period,
really just don't
because you don't know what you're talking about.
I don't want to see you back when we're good either.
Exactly.
Like it's a big rebuild. Now, is it disappointing to lose to the Saints the way we lost to the Saints? Yes, but we weren't supposed to be in that game in the first place, according to everybody. Okay, so take it for what it was. We have a lot of holes on this team. We did what we did. Now, the Rams got embarrassed week 1. Defending Super Bowl champion Rams got embarrassed week 1. So if you don't think Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, the litany, Bobby Wagner, the litany of very, very, very good football players that this LA Rams team has, didn't come into this game pissed off. The fact that we were able to scratch and claw back from a 28-3 deficit, and mind you, you are the same people that bitched about how bad we were to be down 28-3 and then bitched that we didn't come all the way back and win it. If you're not going to find anything or look for it, you're not going to find anything good if you don't look for anything good.
Silver linings, man.
That's how I live my life. Silver linings. That's legitimately how I live my life. There's so much good stuff. One of my friends was like, "Oh, AJ Terrell is just getting torched this year," and I'm like, deep breath. Okay, 2 games in.
Yeah,
2 games in, and I listen. If you're bored out there, go look and see all the wide receivers that AJ Terrell is going to have to cover this year. It's not pretty. It's not pretty for AJ. And it's a team game. It's still a team game, but he's not getting torched. And if there's somebody, if you don't like him on the team, if that's your problem is that 2 back shoulder touchdowns to Michael Thomas and 1 Allen Robinson touchdown against the Rams. If that's your problem with him right now, like, you're in a good spot. You don't know it, but you're in a pretty good spot.
So what Mariota and I said this after the game, texting around with people, Mariota has to have a very strong showing against Seattle. I would almost argue he has to win that game. Like, he has to be a big reason why Atlanta wins that game. Because if he doesn't, if he looks the same, kind of indecisive, not in sync with his receivers, overthrowing, underthrowing, kind of not making good decisions with the football, you very well might see Ritter start game 4, and I think that's the Browns, like you were talking about.
Browns at home.
I will say you're probably right. But I hate it for the guy because I really wanted, and it's still 2 games. A young lady on Twitter asked me, she's like, how many more games do you get him, or is it Ritter time? And I said, I think 1 to 2 more. I don't know what's going on. I mean, could he flip a switch between now and Seattle? Of course he could. Could he have a great practice this week, get in the film room, get with Arthur. Maybe somebody just needs to pat him on the back and say, "Hey, Marcus, you're the guy here, okay? You're the leader. You're the quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. You got this." Maybe that's just one thing that needs to happen. Who knows? But again, we're not gonna pretend we run the team. But as a couple of fans seeing what we've seen over 2 games, I would like to think, and I would have to think, if he has another poor showing, because I don't think you can't rate either of his performances these last 2 games as good. Mediocre at best, I would think.
The problem is that the mistakes way outweigh the negative outweighs the positive, because the mistakes are just like glaring. The fumble, the trying to extend the play in the fumble against the Saints, the 2 picks. I mean, it's just the Jalen Ramsey pick, man. I know what you said and it makes sense, but it seems like just like the wrong decision in that scenario. It's the wrong decision to make.
Well, I think I'll always be that guy too, to say, unless you're standing where in Marcus Mariota's shoes, it's easy to look out around him and say, well, there's a wide open. And he's got, Aaron Donald coming at him. So, but not that better quarterbacks wouldn't have seen Drake London and made a better decision. But I'm telling you, a Peyton Manning or a Matthew Stafford or anybody else would have just, boom, it's right there. Not
100%. And I hesitate, because I have nothing against Marcus Mariota. You know how I feel. Everybody who listens to the show knows that I want to see what we have in Ritter. I have nothing against Mariota, but what you're showing me is that for all the good you have, your bad is going to be the thing that I question. Did it cost us the game? Now, did your good help us win? It's did your bad cost us the game right now? And he could still be a little bit rusty. Like I can play devil's advocate all day. I could be his best friend and talk very positively about it. But what I want and my narrative for the Falcons, Mariota's either playing into it how I wanted, or he's playing into it the other way that I wanted. And we'll get to see Ritter earlier. So either way, I'm not pissed about anything. I just see 2 or 3 plays that are the difference between the Falcons being 0-2 and 2-0.
Hey, man. And again, it's Monday morning. It's not even lunchtime yet here in Atlanta. I haven't seen any headlines or anything today, and we still have a whole week. Ritter could start against the Seahawks. We don't know. A lot happens in the NFL in a week's time from one game day to the next. So we have no idea of how that's going to play out. I'm just saying, and again, I think, like the guy said on the golf course, like, hey, if JP Lossman's your quarterback, then he's your quarterback. Right now, what I'm saying is, hey, Marcus, get back out there against Seattle. Let's get this thing cleaned up. You're the guy. I'm still with you.
If you ever listen, or if anybody listens that knows him, please let him know. Like, I'm behind him. I'm just telling you what I see.
Am I dissatisfied with his performance in 2 games? Absolutely. I think he can be better. The hope is he can be better. But if he can't be better, yeah, man, why not get the kid some game experience?
Did you have lofty expectations, or did you have hope? Because I had hope.
I did not have lofty expectations just because of his career thus far. What I did know is he's comfortable with Arthur Smith. He's a young guy with a pretty good arm, and sometimes it's like that whole change of scenery thing. Like Cordero Patterson came here and had a career rejuvenation, had a career year last year. And it was awesome to see. He guy's 31 years old. That's another problem, too. Somebody's got, our good buddy, do you remember Ian Robinson? I don't know if you remember him. Mm-hmm. Okay, so good buddy, texting with him yesterday during the Bears-Packers game. He's a Packers guy. I just, man, I totally lost my train of thought. Where was I going with that? Running back. Cordell Patterson. Sorry, guys, I'm all over the place, heavily caffeinated. I'm ADD, too, so something you're going to have to deal with on this show. He said, when your feature player, one of your best offensive weapons is kind of a failed first-round draft pick at 31 years old and a wide receiver, he's like, that's not great. And I was like, well, not ideal, but, if you get production out of the guy, who cares? But, yeah, it's a little, I guess, maybe embarrassing to say our best player or our best running back is a wide receiver.
You can silver linings this one. because we went out and got this guy, and that's what he became.
Yeah.
So if you want to look at how good Arthur Smith is at what he does, he put that guy in the running back position and helped make him very successful.
Well, people say that Arthur Smith is kind of Belichick-like in that aspect, is that he finds players and plays to their strengths and puts them in situations to be successful. And so, I mean, we'll see. It's just, man, you just want to get back to the top of the mountain.
Sure, of course.
Because it's just because, sorry to interrupt, but I mean, it's the 80s. PU. Falcons stank. PU for an entire decade.
Cool-ass uniforms, though.
Yeah, bright spot with Glanville came in. Bright spot with Reeves. Down a little bit. I mean, it's either like the Falcons are very, very good, or PU, you can smell the rotting Falcon carcass all the way out on the West Coast. There's really no like.
How do you feel right now though? Like, because I haven't been through a Falcons rebuild, and the NFL is so much. The NFL is so different. College football is one thing, and they're implementing things that are NFL like, right? But you can have a down year in college football in one recruiting class can change everything.
Oh, yeah.
The NFL is so different, even with free agency, because with the salary cap and everything, you have to figure things out. And sometimes the way you set yourself up can decimate you, or bad draft picks. We've had so many bad drafts that set us back. And even though we were competitive, like had we hit on one or two of those guys in every one of those drafts, you don't see that off a cliff dive. You don't hold guys through their contract and lose them for nothing because you have new talent coming in behind them. If you're devoid of talent for 4 or 5 years in a row, young talent, and those guys are just off your team for no good reason, you get nothing back for them. Like that's hard to overcome, and that's where the Falcons end up going out and overpaying not great players to come in to try to fill gaps, and then we get in our money situation right now. Like I honestly think like you go out and you get Cordero Patterson for next to nothing for what his production is, and he's a guy that's been like a not a featured wide receiver, but somebody that's been a special teamer and got in as a wide receiver where he could, a la Devin Hester, who's a kick returner but played wide receiver.
Speaking of that, this is something that came across my mind over the weekend. You don't see in college or the NFL, and it could just be me. You don't see there's not guys that are doing that much anymore.
Kick returning?
Yeah, or punts. You don't see it a lot anymore.
That's because
am I right?
They changed the rules. They moved where you kick from. They changed it to avoid, because those used to be the biggest collisions on the field.
Man, I love watching dudes take one back. Man, watching Prime do it back in the day. But, it's no secret. Dimitrov just wrecked us. He bet it all to get to the Super Bowl quick. What did he give up? He gave up so much to get Julio Jones.
King's ransom.
He spent like a drunken sailor, but so my expectation is good draft next year. I don't know. Winning record. I won't say make the playoffs. Just winning record. I don't even care if it's, 9-8, 10-7, just winning. You win. You finish above 500, and then year 4, you make a playoff run.
Sure, and that's 100% on track with what I'm thinking, is because this year, why I want a good draft pick in next year's draft, because when we have a little bit of money and we're able to spend that, if we get one more good group of young players on this team, we're able to use that money to fill holes with proven commodities.
Maybe even 2 more good drafts.
No. But I don't want to stop drafting well. I mean, high pick.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, like even after this season, like maybe even next season, if you go, 8-9 or 9-8, still got a pretty good draft position.
Sure. Yeah.
Because everybody in any sports team, when you're doing a rebuild, they want to let's get it done as quick as possible. Let's get back to winning. I'm kind of with the Falcons. What my mindset is, slow and steady wins the race. Let's take our time. Let's do it right. Let's not overspend. Let's be patient. And so what if we don't start to see real returns until year 5 or year 6 of this regime? If they get it done better, if they can, if, Kirsten Groves down there in the lab can move some stuff around and find some, diamonds in the rough and some great players to sign and we get some talent, great. But I don't care. I want to see the Falcons be awesome again and beat ass on Sunday just like everybody else. But
that's the
I'm
thing.
willing to wait if it means the ultimate goal of not completing, but another piece, because I want the Hawks to win the trophy too. But I want a Lombardi trophy. And then they could do it at the same time, but I want every major franchise to have a title in this town.
Amen to that.
And I got time. If it takes a little bit longer, so what? It doesn't have to be in the, I don't care if it's year 6. I don't care if I turned 50 and then the Falcons. I don't care.
100%. I'm 100% with you. The whole Dimitrov, Quinn, that whole regime was hurry up and win. It seemed just throwing money at trying to win now, and like there was no building. If you look at it, literally, the foundation was crumbling from underneath us, and we kept trying to build on top of it. We all watched it happen, and we just so happened to go on a Super Bowl run. But after that, like the writing was on the wall there. You saw it crumbling from underneath you after that. Even the way it ended, like when it ended like that, then you had to like go back and reevaluate, and you're like, oh boy, it's not going to get better from here. We weren't on an upswing. Like that was a shot that we had our shot right there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the window closed quickly. I was even on board with keeping Matt Ryan around and saying, hey, he's still got a little bit of a window, but man, after watching Lance go down yesterday and Jimmy G go back in, I told Justin Davis, our good buddy, I said, man, I said all along, San Francisco would have been a great spot for Matt Ryan. Get him back with Shanahan.
100%.
I wish that would have happened. I think I think San Francisco goes to the Super Bowl with a Matt Ryan out there, but I don't know, man. And again, like you said, they looked awful against the dang Jags yesterday, but yeah, I just, my message, and some of you will get this, and some of you are just going to completely continue to be ignorant, stubborn, just morons. You're going to be crybabies. It's no matter what there's literally Falcons fans out there that are just these self-loathing, just no matter what they do, they're never going to be happy. They're always going to complain. And just stop. Be a better fan, or go find another team. Go jump on a bandwagon somewhere, because here's my thing. And I think this is there's other, the Browns, boy, if they ever win a Super Bowl, when you suffer, when you have to go through some tough, turbulent times and you're down, and other teams, fans can they've got ammunition against you and everything. The come up, boy,
so sweet.
That come up for Georgia after just having to listen to Florida fans and LSU fans and Tennessee fans and Alabama fans and Auburn fans, like all that. And let's just go ahead and say it, all that shit that we had to eat for, and you and I, God, we're in our 40s now, for decades, made it all. I mean, I was on my hands and knees crying in tears of joy and just laughing watching Georgia win that national title. It made it that much more special, that much more sweeter to have to endure all that. And that's, just to kind of close this episode out, like that is, and I know, broken record, we're beating a dead horse, but I can't say it enough. He can't say it enough. We're out there, like we have got to change the culture in Atlanta. I'm not saying it's like, if we don't, the Falcons aren't going to be good. It's just, I'm tired of listening to it. I'm tired of listening to all of you just be in a world where there's already so much negativity in the world. Do we have to bring it into the sports arena? Can we all just have fun and be positive and enjoy a team and just support them and understand that, hey, it is a shit situation in Atlanta with the Falcons and the organization? Can we just put a little bit of faith in Arthur Smith and those guys and give them a chance?
It's the easiest thing to do in this situation.
Cost you nothing.
Yeah, please listen to me. It's the easiest thing to do. We are in a rebuild. We know we are in a rebuild. The whole world knows we're in a rebuild. It's an okay time for us to take L's, okay? We don't want to. Nobody wants to lose. But if we're losing right now is where it's okay for you as a fan not to be a complete jerk about everything and to find the good things that are happening right now. Because you know what? Most of these players aren't going to be on the finished product. Most of these players that we have right now will not be on the finished product when you're happy all the time, when the team is really good. That product is going to have a small amount of these guys. We've got guys on 1-year contracts we have guys that are playing so hard right now together that scrape back from a 28-3 deficit to bring it to 27-31 against a all-pro ridden LA Rams team. Okay, you didn't get the W, but you got that close. You watched a block punt return for a touchdown. You watch interceptions from your linebacker and your defensive backs. You are seeing progression. You are seeing a team and a scheme come together. If it doesn't result in a W, and that's the only thing that you care about, it's going to be a long, bumpy road for you. But if you can just focus in on the positives and the things that you can see that we're progressing in, there's always going to be something to worry about and something to work on. But if you focus on the stuff that we are getting good at and we're doing well right now, it's going to be a much more fun ride.
Do your part as the 12th man. Bring some positivity to the situation. Get in the fans. Get in the stands.
Get in the fan stands.
That's we won't go there, but get in the stands and cheer and be supportive and stop crying about every single stinking thing. You cry incessantly, and it's annoying, and it makes us look bad. It makes people like me and him and others who try to keep swimming, keep pedaling the bike. You're making us look bad. When other people see us, they immediately think we're one of you, and we are not. And I'm telling you, either change it or go away. I'm telling you, there's a whole army of us, I guess we're the silent majority maybe, that are just sick of your crap.
Yeah.
We're sick of it. Yep. So straighten up and fly right. See what I did there?
We'll be right with you Hawks fans in a month too.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't hate you. I don't even know a ton of you. I don't know you. I just, because I love this town and I love our team and I love some of our fan base, I just want you to wake up. I want there to be an awakening in Atlanta, and I want you to realize that nobody in the clubhouse is acting the way you're acting. Nobody in the organization is acting the way you're acting.
And fans of other teams see you.
Yes.
They see you. That's why they laugh at us, because the vast majority. Now I don't know which one of us is the majority. They know that our fans are weak, and the ones that move down here and get to live amongst us, they see you all the time, and they laugh at us. We were specifically told they laugh at us.
Yeah,
and that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing, and I don't want an award for getting up early in the morning to go tailgate. You know why? Because I love to do that. I absolutely love it, but I'm there. I'm supporting. I'm watching every single game. I love this stuff. And if that's what you do too, if you tell people that you love Atlanta sports and you continue to shame them and focus and push the negative narrative, then we are not the same.
You don't really love them.
We are not we're not the same type of fan. We are not the same level of fan. And we'll say this on this show till we're blue in the face. I'm not telling you not to critique the team, but please stop jumping off of bridges.
Yeah.
Please stop jumping off of them.
And don't go chasing waterfalls either. Just stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. I had to lighten it up a little bit.
So simple.
But seriously, and again, I'll always be that guy that as I've gotten older, I've been like, hey, it is just a game. And in the grand scheme, we won't get all crazy and weird, but in the grand scheme of the universe, doesn't mean that much. But because it is a hobby of ours, a passion of ours, it doesn't have to be for everyone else, but it does matter to us while we're here on this earth.
When it matters to a lot of people.
Yeah, help us all. Just help us all and just become a better fan, a better educated fan, a more level-headed fan. Man, just get out of your feels. You can be an emotional, passionate, and there's a difference between emotional and passionate and being in your feels. Just Be better, man. And hey, swing by the Bird Gang tailgate and just let's talk football.
Come on, see me.
No, don't be coming by there trying to throw punches and start shit either. It's not even like that. It's not that serious. But yeah, we're calling you out. We're putting you on notice, Atlanta. We've been doing it for 16 episodes now. We got to shape up as a fan base and be better, become more like a united front, a family. And with that said, we are running out of time. But hey, man, who the Birds? We got Seahawks. We got the Hawks next. Way out in the Pacific Northwest.
Geno Smith and the Seahawks.
And, man, but it was great talking to you guys. Even the ones were jumping down your throat. It was great talking to you. We love you. We want to get this thing back on track because this has been a problem for a very long time in Atlanta, and the big guys haven't really addressed it that I can remember. But
we want the teams better, and we want the fan base.
It's a problem. It's our mission. It's kind of been, the more we get out there and talk to people, it's been, echoed. We're being reassured. Hey, exactly. We hear you. Great job, guys. So we're going to keep coming at you. If you keep coming at us, let's all get on the same page. Have a great week. You will see us and hear us later this week. And, man, we'll give you a little Seahawks Falcons rundown. Probably not the Dogs so much. We got more Braves and God, who knows where we might go on this show.
You want a quick Dogs rundown right now? Dogs going to win.
Yeah, Dogs beat Kent State. It's bad. Game over. All right, Atlanta, we've got to go, but we'll see you again real soon. We love you. We need you. Adios.
Do you believe?